and good evening. This is Dr. Marcea, and I'm your Master Destiny Life Coach, and I am the host of Up Sis Up Women's Empowerment Radio. And this is where we help women to rise up, help women to speak up, and help women to boss up. But tonight, we are doing something different. We are busting down the door to the man cave, okay? And this is our opportunity to hear from one of the fellas, to get some knowledge, to understand what he does and how that can also impact and help us. And so, without further ado, I want to bring to the stage Mike Waters. And I met him recently, and I found out a lot about him, and I thought that he would be a perfect ad for this episode. And what I do know about him is that he is an entrepreneur, okay? He is an investor, he is an author, and he's a performance coach. And so I'm going to let him share some information about him, and we're going to go ahead and I'm going to bring him onto the stage. Welcome, Mike. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm good. Look, I'm gonna move you over because now I'm in the man cave. Okay.
There you go.
You know how with women, you tell us we coming.
Yep, I already know. And just that intro alone got me nervous. I was like, I don't have no backup. I don't have nobody with me. I feel like I need a couple fellas to stand next to me.
I know you're scared, but it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right.
We're gonna make it work. Welcome to the man cave. Let me say that.
Thank you for the invitation. But I want to just give you an opportunity to say hello to the listeners and just introduce yourself to them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. I mean, I've been really, really looking forward to this. So my name is Mike Waters, like you mentioned. And at the end of the day, I'm an entrepreneur. I am an investor. I am a father, so just a person that's just driven by life itself. For the last 20 years, I've been living here in Las Vegas. I have a youth program that has helped over 500 athletes get scholarships to play sports at different levels. I also been doing some business coaching and helping other entrepreneurs because, I just love the game of business as an entrepreneur. So any advice I can give, I'm always open to share that. And then other than that, man, I'm just one of those people that when you tell me what your goal is, I'm going to push you and figure out how we're going to get there. I tell everyone that I work with, when you tell me your goal, it becomes my goal. So we really gonna push and do everything it takes. So that's it. That's it in a nutshell. Grew up in California, but I now live in Las Vegas, like I mentioned earlier, and just doing what I love to do and just waking up every day excited and motivated to keep going.
Well, that's good. That is good. Thank you for sharing that. And the thing is, I forgot to say, and you may have said it, but you were a Division I athlete.
Yes.
Okay. You play. And what was your sport?
I played football. Yeah, I played football.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is where it all started. So we have to I have to know what your journey was through athletics, because that seems to be the foundation for everything else that you do.
For sure, and that's important. And the reason it's important is because I'm a strong believer that whatever you go through in life, when you come out the other side of it, that becomes something that you can talk passionately about, something that you can help other people through. So my individual journey, back in high school, senior year, I was a good football player. I led the Valley in rushing touchdowns, so statistically and all that, I was there. I've been that since I was 7, 8 years old. Senior year, when everyone's thinking college and it's time to go to the next level, of course, I was excited. I'm the best on my team, one of the best in the area. So naturally, I'm going to get a scholarship to play at the next level. So fast forward, the first part of that experience is my head coach that I've been playing now for 3 out of my 4 high school years. My head coach, when I asked him about recruiting and getting to the next level, he told me, well, you're too small. You won't be able to play Division I. So once all the recruiting's over, we'll find a small school for you to go to. That was his answer. You know what I mean? And granted, hindsight's 2020. I'm 5'7" on a good day, 5'6.5" on the other days. And then I was only 155, 160 pounds. So I understand it now as I got older. But He looked right into my 16, 17-year-old eyes and said, "It's not for you, son. It's not going to happen." And mind you, anyone that plays sports, you know, your head coach kind of becomes that figure, that mentor, that person that you know, respect. And to hear that really hurt. So what I did was, instead of accepting that as truth, I went on and created my own recruiting campaign, we call it. So I made my highlight video. It's probably dating me, but I had to hook the two VCRs up to each other and play it on one and record it on the other to create this highlight video. I went to my mom. She gave me $20 and I was able to put these VHS tapes in the mail and I sent them off to 10 colleges. That's all I had. That's all the money I had to do it. That's all the resources. So I sent them to 10 colleges. And crazy enough, out of those 10, two of them called back. The first one called back and said, "Hey, I've been to your school multiple times and I've never heard about you." And I'm like, "Well, my high school coach doesn't really believe that I could play Division I football." And he's like, "Okay, that makes sense. But in reality is you're a perfect fit for our school, but I'm out of scholarships." So I'm like, "Okay, what is that?" And so he explained the walk on and your family pays for this and that. And I, you know, my mom, we were like looking at each other like we didn't even understand the language. So at the end of the day, that wasn't an option. A couple weeks later, I got another phone call. Northern Arizona University, we do have a scholarship for you. I'm like, yes, we on. It's go time. The coach came to my house to visit, and I never forget it. He had a manila folder. He opened it up. It had all my transcripts in it. With those transcripts, there were so many red arrows and circles and lines to where basically he had broken down all of my core classes, my GPA, my test scores. And he said, "Man, we are far off and it's going to take a lot of work to try to get this scholarship academically." I didn't understand 16 core classes. I didn't understand the sliding scale for SAT, ACT. I was just a good football player. And long as I was eligible to play on Friday night, I was doing my job the way I saw it. So I had a 2.2 GPA, which we know that's not going to get it done. So I spent about 3 months. I took the SAT 3 different times. I was making up classes. So I was taking like English 1 and English 2. And I'm just doing all this stuff because I'm like, I got to hit this deadline. And sure enough, a month or two went by and I got the call saying the deadline is passed and we did not make it. So I lost that scholarship opportunity, literally lost it. After that, I was lost. I graduated high school. I did graduate. And I spent a year, honestly, just in the streets. I spent a year trying to figure out how to make money. Spent a year drinking. I spent a year smoking. I spent a year because I was really lost. I was now 17, actually just turning 18. Football was over, which is the only thing I ever really loved. And now I'm just standing there. Luckily, a year later, right at that year later, I missed football. I reached out to another coach. They said, "Go to junior college." Went to junior college, got my AA degree. They said, in order to transfer to a university, you got to get your AA. So I got it. I was always a pretty smart kid, but I just didn't apply myself. So when they told me in order to go to university, you need an AA, I got an AA. It was the easiest thing ever to me. It was like not even a big deal. And then I was able to transfer and accomplish my goal of playing Division I, which is how I got to Las Vegas. I played at UNLV. So throughout that whole process and the ups and downs and the emotion, I'll give you guys just a short, a little snapshot of why I started working with athletes. Between the time I left California and the time I finished at UNLV, my oldest brother was strung out on crack cocaine. My younger brother was in and out of jail at the time, really just kind of, lost in his way. My nephew was serving a 14-year sentence for multiple counts of armed robbery. And my best friend that I grew up with was also in jail for multiple counts of armed robbery.
Wow.
That was my home. That was it. And now let's flip the screen. I'm on the other side. Now I'm at UNLV. I'm in college. I'm traveling on, commercial flights with just my teammates, boosters. We're going to Hawaii. We're doing all this traveling. I have friends on my team. They're like, "Hey, spring break. My dad has a boat. We're going out here to the lake." And I'm just like, whoa, I didn't even know anything about this world. And I was exposed to it. So when I got done playing, it was very simple. I said, okay, what was the difference between me and my family, my close friends that did turn left? And I equated it to sports. I said it was football. Because if I didn't have the passion to go back and play, who knows? Who knows where I would be? So basically, I made my mind up at that moment in 2003 that I was going to build a program that helps athletes get to the next level in every single way possible. And for me, that's why I call it phase one sports, which is my business name. It's the beginning. It's the first phase. So that's really how it started for me. And so now for the last 20 plus years, I've just been helping athletes. And then, of course, that's now transitioned to helping entrepreneurs as well. I just kind of put it all in one big ball and push it forward.
Wow. That's oh my gosh. That is so amazing. And you said you done preached a whole sermon. You done wrote a whole book. It's everything just came together. Yeah. And it all started with that coach doubting you.
Yeah.
And telling you, son, it's not going to happen.
It's not it. It's not for you.
And how many of us, once we hear that, we take it at face value and we stop. But then the next step was you saying, you know what? Nah, that's not the end for me.
Yeah.
It may go that way, but I'm not going to take it as face value. I'm going to take the next step.
Exactly.
And you put the VCR together and sent it out and got some response. And even in that, the answer was still no.
Yeah. But
you still kept going. And that year of searching, I'm going to call it, mm-hmm. and you finding that you really love football and you were going to find there was something else to it. There was more that you could do. So what I hear resilience.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe it?
I think it is resilience. I think it's some persistence once I got going and kind of battling through it. And this is another piece that's kind of, that might catch people off guard. I think it's also a youthful spirit, right? I think as we get older, we tend to lose some of it. And one thing that I've worked on is trying to maintain it. Like people will tell you now, I'm still the biggest kid in the room. And I do that not just because it's part of my personality, because I just know that when we're at those younger ages and that younger mindset, we'll call it, no one can tell you anything. If you say you want to be an astronaut, guess what? If you believe it, you're gonna be an astronaut. So I think at 17, when my coach said, nope, not gonna happen, I was like, you know what? It is gonna happen. I don't know how, I don't know why, I don't even know why I believe it so much, but I'm gonna do the work to get there. When I started phase one, I was 25 years old, fresh out of college, and everyone I talked to, business coaches, mentor, friends, family, everyone said, that's not a business, Mike. That's a hobby. That's something you do on the weekends. You went to UNLV, go get a job on the Strip, go work here, go do this. And I just, whatever reason, youthful energy, I went, dude, it is going to work and I'm going to make money doing it. And this is going to be my business. No proof, no experience, no money, no anything. But I just had that mindset. And even today, when I'm venturing into a new project or a new business venture or whatever that looks like, same thing. I'm going to do the research. I'm going to do the work, but it's going to work. I'm going to figure it out. And granted, it's not 100%, but the odds are in my favor because of the mindset. So I call it kind of a youthful mindset, but in reality, it's just that confidence and belief in yourself and focusing more on what's internal and less of what's external.
Yeah, yeah. So the thing that you also shared when we talked about the things that were happening around you, right? The environment that you were in, there was nothing other than sports that pulled you out. I want you to speak to the importance of who you're connected to, who you're around. How do we pivot from there and not allow the things that are happening around us to take over?
Yeah, very, very difficult. It's not easy to do. The first thing we have to understand is that our environment doesn't dictate who we become, right? So that's just number one. Our environment is our environment. That's why we love the success stories of different people and you look at their story and you're like, man, they grew up in the worst. I mean, my story to a lot of other people I know is not even traumatic at all. It's just, okay, that's normal. Because I know people that have been through so much worse on personal level, abuse. I mean, it's just so many levels to it. So I think it starts with just understanding that this is the environment that I'm in, but this is not who I am. And I can still accomplish whatever that looks like for me. I can still turn this into a positive. That's why we love the documentaries. We'll watch a 3-4 hour documentary about someone's life starting from when they're 3, because we're like, man, they went through all that and now they're here. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of it is that. The second piece is we have to be very careful that we don't prioritize the people around us that we know don't have the same mindset or not trying to accomplish a similar goal. We have to be careful not to prioritize what they think over what we know. We know we want more. We know we want to be successful. We don't know if it's going to work, but we know we desire more. That desire has to be stronger than the approval of those people around you. The approval of the people that are like, you don't need to do that. I mean, why you even want to start a business anyway? You know what I mean? Or whatever that looks like for you. When they start saying that, my easiest thing to do is just to slowly start separating. You don't even need to go cold turkey. You can just slowly, oh, nope, can't make it this week. All right, cool. I'll talk to you. And just slowly, because you're going to start to see it so clear that they don't have your best interests and they're trying to give you their vision. They're trying to give you their reality of what they think you could accomplish. And that just doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. How can someone outside of me tell me what I'm capable of? Mm-hmm. But we have to be conscious of that. So I would say those are kind of the key things I do, is just I slowly separate. I have family that I love to death, but I'm not spending a lot of time with them. Don't mean I don't love them. Don't mean I don't care about them. Don't mean they're not family. But there's some people I just cannot give energy to because I know it's going to detour and take me away from my ultimate goal.
Yeah, that's good. So the thing that comes up for me now is you mentioned, the environment, and, it's hard to separate or hard to figure that out. But one of the things that people need, love, safety, and a sense of belonging. And so when you decide to kind of step away from those that may be negative influences, how, from a mindset perspective, how do you help your clients to do that?
Yeah, I think it starts with the circle. It starts with the people that you're around. I mean, I'm a big fan of surrounding yourself with people that are like-minded, people that are on a mission, because this is not an easy journey for any of us, but there's some power in going through a conflict and calling or texting or meeting up with somebody and telling them what's going on, and they truly understand it. And they understand it from a perspective of, hey, you're going to work through it. You're going to be fine. Oh, no, matter of fact, I want you to call this person. Like, somebody that can actually help you get out of it is really what's key. I think we still spend too much time with people in our circle that can't add any value. Yeah, so all we're doing is pouring into them, not receiving any value back. And so guess whose cup ends up empty? Ours. So I've done a good job, I would say, with the people I work with, as well as my circle of friends, that when we have a meeting, yeah, we're hanging out, we're having a good time, we're doing our thing. But I know each person at that table has their own battles, their own mission that they're pursuing, and we're going to feed off each other. And we're going to become a resource and a motivator for each other, instead of communicating it to the wrong person and they just going to keep tearing you down. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's a big difference if I say, man, I started this business, and it's we're losing money, and that person goes, yeah, I told you shouldn't have did it. I mean, business is hard. I mean, 90% of businesses fail. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, this is what you're going to feed me after I tell you that I'm in the middle of this and it's not going my way. That's your answer. Versus, hey, what are you doing with marketing? What about this? Have you tried this? Hey, I have a friend that has a similar business. I want to introduce you guys. That's what you need. Once you have that around you, it becomes very difficult to fail.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. So your circle will help determine your success.
Yes, I love it. That's it right there.
Yeah. So I want to shout out some folks that are in the chat with me. I have Dr. Tammy Harris in the house. I got Sharon. She's from Cincinnati. I also see Lena. I see Dr. Green, he also has a show here on the MSC Network, as well as Dr. Tammy. And I
Awesome.
also see music. I see lots of folks. They're just saying hello,
Hello, hello,
and
hello.
good information. So, Mike, you told us about the journey of just getting to playing college ball.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know it would be naive of me to believe that that was your greatest challenge, right? That's just you getting on the field. So I want to pick your brain a little bit. I want you to go into the mic vault,
Yep.
and I want you to share with us maybe one of your biggest challenges, your biggest hurdles, maybe that occurrence that helped to shape you into the athlete that you have been.
Yeah. I think well, I'll start with when I got to Las Vegas, when I got to UNLV. Okay, so the first thing I took my trip to UNLV in May. If you know anything about Vegas, May is pretty nice. It's about 85, little wind coming through. I'm like, I'm gonna live there forever. It's Vegas. I had never been to Vegas in my life, never been. And then I had to report to camp on August 15th. So once again, if you know anything about Vegas, August 15th, it is literally 120 degrees. Okay, maybe 118, maybe not 120, but it is extremely hot. I remember driving in from California. I got off on Tropicana. First thing I did, I pulled over at a Chevron gas station. I think it was Chevron or Mobil. Pulled in, got out the car, and I just froze. I was like, this is impossible. I had never bought a bottle of water in my life. I grew up in California. We drink out the hose, faucet, it's all good. I'm in Vegas. The first thing my brain said was, buy water. You're going to die. It is the desert. So that was really a shell shock in itself. But on the athletic side of it, I remember when I got to camp, to training camp. And I remember we were doing player introductions, right? And of course, like I told you, I'm one of the best players from my little area and all conference, all this, all that. Cool, got it. It only took me about 3 or 4 people getting up to say their little background for me to realize that everybody here is freaking great. Everybody here was the man or the woman, if you play a woman's sport, whatever, you were the best in that area to where I thought I was the guy. And then I realized I'm in a sea of 104
The guys.
guys that were all the guys
Yeah,
wherever they came from.
right.
McDonald All-American, all this, all that. I'm just like, what? Gatorade Player of the Year. I'm like, Gatorade Player of the Year. I didn't even know that was a thing. You know, and so it was really mentally tough that first couple months, just adapting to that and just looking, you know, in the beginning, I'll be transparent. In the beginning, it was intimidating because now you start to hear the voices. You're undersized, you're too small, you're too this. Because now you're looking at somebody standing next to you and they're the prototype, you know, 6'1, 205 pounds out of wherever. And so it was hard to battle through that. So what I did, I made a commitment to myself that no matter what, and my first year, I didn't play. I did not touch the field, like literally did not touch the field at all. So that was very different because obviously I was the man. And now I'm sitting behind, I'm number 3 on the depth chart behind a senior, a junior, and both of them had already rushed for 1,000 yards. I mean, they were already there. So at the end of the day, only thing I could really do, and I remember it clearly, I committed to being the hardest worker possible. So I was the one that after practice would stay out and run extra sprints and people looking at me like, what are you doing? I'm like, honestly, I don't even know what I'm doing, but I just feel like I have to continue to work if I'm going to be successful on this team. And that took a year and a half or so. And then the respect started coming, then the name recognition, then the coaches want the meeting. Hey, Mike, come talk to us in the office after practice. To, you know, hey, how you doing? What do you think about this? So then it became official. I made my way in, but I will say it was one of those experiences where I was like, this is crazy. And then the last piece I'll leave you with in terms of the athletic part, the last piece is another thing that the light bulb went off immediately. And I think this led to me starting the business that I started
Mhm.
A few years later, it was shocking to me that the best players on our team at UNLV, and these are some guys, the best players. I knew people in my neighborhood that were better than them, but they were selling dope, or they were in and out of jail, or they were just on mom's couch and they no plan on leaving. They just weren't there. They never got out of the mindset or the environment or whatever you want to call it. And it used to shock me so much that I would see this player at UNLV and he's about to get drafted in a couple years. And then I got a friend in my city in Monrovia, California, that's better than him right now off the couch. And that's what kind of started spinning the wheel to say, if I can grab these athletes young, mentor them, train them, get them ready mentally, physically, that won't happen, or that shouldn't happen as often, if that makes sense. So that was just another eye opener that is people that just missed the opportunity for whatever reason.
Yeah. Mike, you are dropping nuggets that it's just like, whoo.
Well, y'all in the man cave. When you come into the man cave, this is what it is. The man cave or the barbershop, you're going to get it all.
Love it. I love it. We've got says Mike Waters, your determination kept you focused to be successful. That was music. Sharon says, you have to have a positive mindset and stay focused. And Dr. Tammy, she says, real talk. Okay, straight real up. Talk. But what I want to do, I got to rewind because you said a couple of things. You talked about the water bottle experience, right? And I wanted to just kind of put a pin in how many times we're on the right track, but we get into places that feel too hot. Mm-hmm. Right? Where we haven't been there before. We didn't have the training. We don't have the mentorship, but we get dumped in a place and we're like, you know what do I do? And what you did is, one, you had to adapt.
Yeah.
Right. And you had to have a mindset to say, you know what, I'm not stopping. I'm gonna have to figure it out. But then the other thing you said is that once you got into a room of all of the best, those voices, the voice of that coach, just a couple years before, came back. We think that once we get over a hurdle, once we have success, we believe that we're done. It's over. But we're still going to fight those same, I'm going to call them demons, or fight those same thoughts over and over. It's just going to come back a different way. And one of the things, I have a similar experience from the medical side. So when I went to medical school, I was at the top of my class. You get into that room, everybody else at the top of their class, right? And I had the additional challenge that I was the only African American in my class.
Oh, wow.
And I failed my first test. It was physiology. I will never forget. And I'm already thinking, okay, I'm the only Black person in my class. The weight of that, I'm like, I can't go home. And you know how they say, okay, you look to your left and to your right, one of y'all not going to be here. I was like, that can't be me.
It can't be me. Wow.
Right. But you had to adapt, and you have to fight those voices every day. Every time it comes up, you have to fight those voices. So, Mike, tell me how you help those that you train and coach to fight those voices and push through the blocks that are here to seemingly stop us.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start with something that may be slightly controversial. So when you get to these blocks, basically the way I see them, and they start replaying in your mind, it's basically a level of fear, a level of anxiety. Something in there not settling right. So it's bringing up these thoughts, right? So the first thing I hear, and the reason I say it could be a little controversial, because I hear so many people, false evidence appearing real and all this, stuff that you hear around fear or around anxiety or performance anxiety and things along those lines. I'm the opposite. They're there. If they're in your head, they're real. Yes, you can. I mean, I get it. We can play on words, but what I try to do is I try to face them first, and then I edify myself by what I've already been through. So when the voices started coming back up, man, maybe you are too small. Maybe you are this. You know what? That's what he said in 1996. And I fought through that, went through my own recruiting, went through 2 years of junior college, got my A, and now I'm here. So I'm here. It's proven that he was wrong. It's proven. It's all right here. It's there. So just by accepting that thought and not trying to run from it or not feeling bad because you have it, like I didn't go into some mental crash because I'm like, oh, it's back and I'm just gonna let it. No, I'm gonna face it, address it, and be like, man, that's crazy. I haven't even thought about that in so many years. But how did I feel then?
Yeah.
Progress, and now I'm here. So that's number one. And now the flip side, this is what I teach a lot on as well. You as a entrepreneur, business person, corporate, I don't care what your mission is, athlete, this is what I do, and this is what I try to teach. Try to give yourself the value in the amount of work you're putting in, not in the result of the work you're putting in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We tend to put everything on the result.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's a big disconnect when the result isn't exactly the way we want it or the way we saw it. But if we just get better at just saying, did I put in the work? We failed the test, right? You mentioned earlier, you failed that first test. Okay, that's the result, and that sucks. I get it. But it's more valuable for you to look at the study, the process, how much time you invested, the energy, the focus, the study hours, the meeting with the teacher. That's the work. If you're still willing to put in the work, you're going to do exactly what you did and you're going to figure it out. And then you're going to be at the top of the class, which I know you were at the top of the class. I can just feel the energy. You were at the top of the class. So, but it was from what? It wasn't from the result of that failed test. It was from the amount of work that you were willing to put in. And then the ultimate result was that. Like an athlete, I think Kobe is one of the ones that says it a lot in his previous interviews is, you could take a game-winning shot. You're gonna make it one night. The next night you come back, you're gonna miss that same shot. He said, so if you base it on results, you're gonna be on a roller coaster. If you base it on the work that you put in up to that point, you're always gonna be happy with it. Mm-hmm. So I just try to focus on the work as opposed to just the result.
Yeah. All right. So the first thing you said was about the fear, and I just happened to listen to your podcast about the fear of entrepreneurship.
Oh, wow. Yep.
Okay. And you said that it's controversial about, calling the fear out. Mm-hmm. And I 100% am in agreement with you. Okay.
Good to know, because a few people weren't.
All right. So I'm a physician. I'm also a life coach. And the example that I use about facing the fear and calling it out, if we think about an abscess, okay, or a pus pocket, whatever you want to call it, okay, and there's one treatment for how you treat an abscess. Do you happen to know what that is?
Yeah, I know what an abscess is. I don't know what the treatment is.
The treatment is you have to cut it open.
Yep, that's what I was thinking, but I didn't want to jump out there. My medical knowledge is very limited, so you ain't gonna get me.
It's okay, you're safe. I'm in the man cave. The medical pieces is all taken care of. Okay, all right.
We don't talk about all that in the man cave. We leave all.
Oh, y'all want to talk about that?
No, go ahead. Okay, I got it. You got to cut it open because you got to drain it.
You got to drain it, right? So let's use that same example. If there is fear, the only way for the fear to go away is that you have to cut it open and you have to expose it. Yep. Because if you never address it, you're always going to be running from it.
Yeah.
But once you face it, now you have power over it, and now you can take the next step. And I actually came up with an acronym called FOCUS. And what it stands for is facing obstacles creates unlimited success.
That's good. Facing obstacles creates unlimited success.
Right. If you're not willing to face it, then you're not going to be able to get to the success piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even another example, there's the zone of the comfort zone, right? There's this diagram where the comfort zone's in the middle, and then the next one is the fear zone, okay? And then the next one is the learning zone, and then it's the growth zone. Everybody wants to grow. You ask people, who wants to grow? Me, 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 me.
Everybody ready.
But you have to be able to, you have to be willing to go through the fear zone.
You have to.
And then there's a learning zone. And so, as I said, that is the model that I operate from. You have to face it, or you're never going to get to the bottom of the abscess. It's never going to heal if you don't pop that thing and let what's there come out.
Gotta release it. I love it.
All right, so we tracking.
That's a great analogy. Yep.
Right.
Yeah, we're good. I'm glad we're on the same team for this one. Okay, good.
Right. The other thing you said, don't focus on the work and not the result. Focus on the work and not the result. And so the thing that I learned in physiology was that I was working hard, but I wasn't working smart. Okay. And the culture of where I went to school, the teachers used to give out the prior tests. Now, I did mention I was the only African American. And so I didn't have a network. I didn't go to the undergrad. I didn't know the people there. I was coming in, I came on full scholarship. We're going to talk about the money later. Okay. I came on full scholarship, but I didn't have the connections until I went to church, and I had someone who, she was a year ahead of me.
Oh, wow.
She had access to some of her tests from her year.
Oh, wow.
So now I had leverage because some of the people who were in my class didn't have the tests I had. And I needed the tests they had. So now we had a little.
We got to play together. We got to play together. If you want to play, we got to play together.
So now I have some of the sample test questions, and now I'm studying smarter, not harder.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. And so, so that's part of doing the work. But then the other piece is that, even in business, when I talk to my clients and we're talking about what are your goals, a lot of people want to say, I want to make this amount of money, or I want to have, this number of clients. That's good, but that's a distant result. How do you get there? Okay, maybe you have to do a workshop. Maybe you have to, go live. Maybe you have to put out a book, whatever. You have to do something first before you get to the result. So, Mike, we are tracking. We're tracking. Go ahead. What do you got to say?
Oh, no, I was just agreeing with you. I mean, that's what it comes down to. It all comes down to the work. So many people want the result, but it's the work, and then it's the persistence, because you got to keep going. We also have gotten used to things happening very fast. And I think a lot of times, because we get distracted with social media and all the different stuff, and we want to go from point A to point Z, not realizing that was a journey. You know what I mean? So I always advise people that even if you are following someone legit on social media and you see the level of success, and they're, people, I had $1 million day and I had this and I had that. You're like, man, this is crazy. And you're at level 1. I always advise people, if they're a legit person, go back and track their story from the beginning.
Yes. Absolutely.
And if you track it from the beginning, it starts to make a lot more sense when you realize they've been at it for 26 years, or when you've been at it, then they went bankrupt 3 times, and then they got, what I mean? Like, it just starts to make more sense. Exactly. But if we look at the end result, we're like, well, what's wrong with my business? Like, nothing, your business. You're just where, that person was at X time, and that's, so I think that's a big part of it, is just seeing it and understanding it, and then pulling out what you need to help.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's do the transition. Okay. The first phase was the athleticism and how you help individuals with their athletic performance. Okay. Yes. And you mentioned that there's a phase 2. There's a phase 2. Can you share with us what phase 2 is?
So basically, phase 2 is the athlete to entrepreneur. So basically, what the mission is to take entrepreneurs. And when I say entrepreneur, I have a couple people in the program that are literally like corporate. But they're on a mission to climb that ladder. Like they want to be the VP, the regional, they're on a mission. So anyone that really has their sights set on something, whether it's business, career path, whatever that looks like. And basically the premise of the program is simple. We're going to establish the athletic mindset, the elite athlete mindset, and apply it to business or to whatever that mission is for you. So what does that look like? You look at, I'll use Kobe, because Kobe's Kobe. So I'll use Kobe Bryant as an example. We admire what he did on the court. We admire all the championships. We admire, his work ethic, his discipline. When we hear the interviews, how he was at the court 2 hours before practice, 2 hours after, we admire it. And we look at it really from a fan perspective. Who's your GOAT? Oh, it's MJ. It's okay, cool. We're just fans arguing about who we think is the best. What I've managed to do is look at these athletes and not just look at them as a fan that loves sports. I ask, how did he get there? How did she get there? What kind of work did Serena Williams put in from the time she was 8 all the way up till time she retired? So I look at that, and then I ask myself, what did their lifestyle look like? What was Kobe's lifestyle? He was eating good food. Obviously he's got a lot of money, so it's probably chef. But at the end of the day, he was eating quality food, working out once or twice a day. He had his morning routine. He was taking care of his body, whether that was massage, physical therapy, whatever it looked like. He was doing all these things to become who he became. So the question is, why are we not doing these same things for our business? Why are we not treating our body like an athlete would treat their body? We can watch the game and we're all excited. Oh, man, that's crazy. But have we ever thought, let's pull that out. Let's get up early. Let's make sure we're taking care of our health. We're hitting the gym. Let's make sure we're making the right food choices. We're not just eating because we got stress and we're running all over the place. So we just grabbing anything. No, let's look at the quality food that's going to give you more energy, which ultimately is going to translate to more success in your business or whatever your mission is. So I start to kind of identify the characteristics of an elite level athlete and then apply those to entrepreneurship or a career. And the result is crazy. It's the same result. So I tell it, if you want to be an elite athlete, elite entrepreneur, it's the same thing. The characteristics are the same. My athletes that reach the highest levels that are in the NFL, I got athletes right now, NFL, NBA, Major League Soccer. I got athletes in every pretty much pro sport. And then I have clients and friends that are entrepreneurs that are making good money and successful entrepreneurs. And when I look at the characteristics, they're similar. They're very, very similar in what it took to get there. Mm-hmm. So that's really phase 2 for me, is to work with those entrepreneurs, career path people, and say, let's change your lifestyle. Let's wake up with the same mindset that LeBron wakes up with and why he's on year 21 when everyone should have been retired 5-6 years ago and he's still playing. How is that? It's because of his work ethic, his discipline, his routine, the way he takes care of his body, what he eats. It's all going into that. And we just go, 20 years. No one ever stopped and went, how? And why don't I have that level of success in my field?
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I happen to peruse your website, and I noticed that there are resources for the athlete, okay, the sole athlete. There's a resource for the entrepreneur, and then there's the combined resources for those that are athletes and entrepreneurs. And so I want to kind of highlight a couple of them. But before I do that, you said as far as your athletic ability or your success compares the same as in business. My comparison is the same thing in life that is in business. They run in parallel. And I believe that they should go together as opposed to one being so imbalanced. And the way that you conquer your life stuff will determine how you conquer your business stuff.
Yep.
Okay. Agreed. So here are some of the resources that I found. I want you to kind of just speak to them. One was the athlete mindset training, and goal setting, time management, leadership.
Yep.
Public speaking, I want to come back to that one. Daily routines and habits, work ethic, family balance, meditation, and visualization.
Yep.
Tell me how you use those different pieces in your work.
Yeah. So right off the top, I do both versions, meaning some of it is very formal, very like structured. Other parts of it are a little more fluid, which most of the entrepreneurs I work with tend to kind of gravitate towards. Here's what I mean by that. So if we look at some of the things you just mentioned, lifestyle, the goal setting. So goal setting, for example, some people are super elaborate on their goals. Like they will go so in depth on every little goal, every little number. Other people look at it as a percentage of success. Last year I did this. I want to increase of 15%. How do I get there? You know what I mean? So there's different ways to do it, but the key is always long term, reverse engineering back to short term. And that's what I like to put together for my clients is here's our long-term goal. Let's back up to where we're at today. And now let's put together a map and some actual checkpoints to determine if we're on track. You know, similar to the SMART goal system, where it has to be something that we can track and we can see. For an athlete, it's easy. You want to get a scholarship. Okay, you're a freshman. You got 4 years. Senior year, we're going to know if it works or not. So that's a good hard cutoff. You know what I mean? So that's what we want to create even in our space. So I like to do that. Leadership is another one that you mentioned, to where leadership to me can be blurry because there's a lot of people that think they are leaders already. Oh, I'm a good leader. Okay, why? How do you even know that? Have you asked? Have you surveyed the people that you're leading? You know, have you looked at the growth, you know, over the last 6 months, 12 months, 18 months to determine that your leadership is getting them to the next destination? And the reason I say it's blurry is because for a long time, I thought I was a very good leader. And then a couple of years ago, I realized I wasn't. I realized what I was doing is bringing in people, establishing the goal, the main goal, what their task is. And then I wasn't inspecting what I expect on a consistent basis. So when we miss the mark, I'm just mad and looking at you as you just didn't accomplish the goal. In reality is I didn't even inspect the process along the way. So that's one form of leadership that we don't think. Another big one that I think everybody can take away from this is your vision. When you build a team and you become a leader, it's very important that they understand your vision in detail. Now, here's the key. And this is where I said, I thought I was doing a great job. Everyone that came in, I explained the vision, the 3-year goal, the 5-year. I want to be the best performance program. And I give them all to them. And then I never talk about it again. And then when they start to get distracted or we're off course, it's not because they're off course. It's because they've lost sight of the vision. They don't know where we're going anymore.
Right.
So what I do now is at least quarterly, we're going to talk about this vision. We're going to talk about exactly what we're trying to accomplish because I want it to be fresh. Yeah. Because if you got the right team, when you give them your vision, you can see their energy go up. You can see them get excited because now they're a part of it. That's what we're trying to accomplish. Let's go. But then when you don't mention it for month 2, month 3, month 6, month 12, they're like, I just go to work. Right. I just work with Mike. Or I just work for Mike. And it just becomes that. Yeah. It's no purpose driven. So yeah, so leadership's a big one. I know you mentioned public speaking, which we could definitely get into as well. I think that's a missing link to so many people's next level of success. Yeah. You know, being in a mental place to be comfortable speaking in front of people, whether it's 1 or 1,000, I think it's so much in there because our experience gives us something to talk about. But sometimes we don't value that experience enough to want to share it and be comfortable sharing it. And we let the fear, once we talked about before, overwhelm us. So instead of saying fear is not real, just get on stage, I'm going to say, why are you scared? Where's that fear coming from? Yep. Yeah, that's valid. Yep, I get it. How do we work through that? Where did that stem from? Now we kind of keep working, but public speaking's one, time management, and I'll end it with this one because I know there's a couple bullets in there, but time management's a good one, and here's why. For years, I thought I was a great time management expert, and what I realized, I was just busy. I was waking up every morning, 7 o'clock, out the door by 8, ready to go. meeting back to back here, drive over there, meet over here, doing all this stuff. And at the end of the day, I'm exhausted. And I felt good about the exhaustion because I'm like, I am working. But in reality is when you ask yourself, what did you do today that moved the needle? What did you do today that enhanced your business? What did you do today that changes your relationship with your family, your kids, your spouse, husband, wife? What did you do that really made impact? And a lot of times the answer was nothing. But I'm on Thursday. The week is almost over and I'm exhausted. And I look Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'm like, I didn't even accomplish anything. So now time management to me starts with prioritizing what's going to have the biggest impact on your business. Mm-hmm. That needs to be the priority. Everything else is second. Everything else comes if you get to it. I get it. You know, hey, let's meet for lunch. Okay, that's good. I'll keep you posted and let you know if I can, because I have to do these things that are going to move this business forward before I sit down for 2.5 hours to just talk to you over lunch about whatever. Right. You know what I mean? If it's like you said, balance. For me, I like to spend a lot of time with my daughter. So she's in the schedule. I'm like, okay, on Wednesday, it's daddy-daughter day. We're hanging out. We're going to the park. We're eating. We're doing whatever we're doing because that moves the needle for me. That gives me inspiration, gives me motivation because this is my child. Like, right. I want to provide for her. So it creates that. So time management is not just your schedule. Mm-hmm. It's how productive are you on a day-to-day basis? Are you doing things that are impacting your life, impacting your business, or are you just busy and every night you get home and you take a shower and you pass out because you're so exhausted? And then you wake up the next day and you just do it again, not realizing you really didn't accomplish anything.
Yeah. That last piece I think is very, very good to put a pin in, because I think, and that was me. I used to be very busy, and I call it living the same year over and over again. And I knew I was living underneath my potential. And once I realized, you know what, no more. And now I'm still busy, but now I'm moving the needle. And so now it feels different. Because before I was just busy and exhausted. So I think that's a good point. So we talked about, I wanted to come back to the public speaking because that's kind of how we ended up being in the same space. You joined the Leadership Experience Tour out of Detroit, and you and Sean Fair got connected. Kind of share a little bit about how that journey onto the stage worked for you.
Yeah. So I have a couple, we had mutual friends with Sean Fair before, obviously, we met. So what was cool, I was at a red carpet event in San Diego. It was like an award ceremony, some cool stuff going on. So some good networking. I met a young lady at that event who knew my assistant, or my basic creative person that works behind the scenes for me. So they connected, and that's where the Sean Fair Leadership Experience Tour kind of was brought to our attention. You know, she said, hey, you need to check this out. This is great for speakers. She understood that I was trying to take my speaking to the next level. Mm-hmm. So she just saw it as a great resource. Mm-hmm. Of course, I get the information. So first thing I do is get on a call with Sean, because I'm like, well, I need to know who's behind it. Mm-hmm. I want to, I'm like this right here. I need the face. I need the Zoom. I need the, I'm trying to feel the energy. And literally within minutes of being on that call, I'm like, this is a good guy. Not only a good guy, but he knows what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. He understands it, and he's really helping people accomplish this goal. And I mean, right after that call, I was like, I'm in. Let's just go ahead and do it. And so I committed to that, and the learning has been, it's been great. I mean, even now there's still calls, you know what I mean? But it's been a great experience, because it's one thing to get in front of people and speak, right? It's another thing to actually hone your skill, your craft, go through training, learn flexion, learn voice, learn pace, learn all the different little things that we don't really pay attention to when you're watching someone speak.
Correct.
You're just listening and you're entertained. Exactly. And then you're saying, oh, I love hearing this person speak. But there's a lot of hours and little things that go into that message that was planted there for you to say that.
Exactly.
And so it was cool to go through that whole experience, to learn all that and develop a lot more on the speaking side, because I do feel like it's something that I want to take to the next level. I think we talked about it earlier. I've been speaking for a few years. Even in college, I would go do speaking events for kids and youth programs. So I've been doing it for a while, but it's always been just, hey, Mike, can you come speak? Just kind of like a light vibe of like, yeah, sure, I got you. Where now with the leadership experience tour, now it's time to take it to the next level and actually get on more stages and be more,
Yeah.
more detailed and more specific about what the messaging is and what the mission is. So
Yeah.
yeah, so public speaking is super key. LET, the Leadership Experience Tour. Shout out to Sean Fair. You know what I mean? Let's go. I mean, I would definitely recommend that. I ain't trying to make it a commercial, but it
Like
was a great program.
definitely a great program, and he's actually going to be in town for my event, which is a speaking event stage called Refueled and on Fire. That's coming to
Nice.
the Baltimore area, April 27th. I have some powerhouse speakers that are coming to the stage. I have representatives from Fox 45. I've got Sirius XM. I've got, of
Beautiful.
course, Sean Leadership Experience Tour,
Yep.
and some others that are going to be hitting the stage and burning it down. And
One
my
down.
thing is, I want speakers to unmute their mic,
Mm-hmm.
and by saying that, by sharing what you do have,
Yep.
right? And even as you've shared with us how your story has now turned into a business, and
Yeah.
I think I read multiple, well, how was it called? I think it pretty much, it sounds like a whole lot of zeros. Okay. I think multi-million dollar businesses, I
Yeah.
think I heard.
Yeah. Three total. Yeah.
Three.
Three,
Yeah,
three that produce over 1 million a year. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Three.
yeah,
So
that part,
yeah,
right?
I'm working a little bit, working a
A
little
little bit,
bit.
let me working. All right. So,
Yeah.
so you are doing your thing, and there are so many other things I would love to talk about, but our time is running short. But I do want you to be able to, Mike, just kind of share with us
Yeah.
how folks can get a hold of you if they
Mhm.
want to want you to help coach them, if
Yeah.
maybe their kid is sports bound. Mine, I just filled out the NCAA registration
Or the
thing
clearinghouse.
for my son last night. Yeah, so
Right.
if
Yeah.
how can folks get a hold of you?
Yeah, so I mean, the best way, there's two basic options. Instagram is where I do hang out a little bit throughout the course of the day, and my Instagram is at Mike Waters Official, just as simple as it sounds, Mike Waters Official. And then also the website has a little bit more background on the coaching and things like that, and also just a basic little questionnaire that you could submit if you're interested in coaching or speaking or any of that stuff. And the website is MikeWatersOfficial.com. So that's basically the best way. But I'm an open book. I love communicating with people. So even if it's just something quick, a quick message, I'm replying. It's me on there. I'm having fun with it. So anyone feel free to reach out and we can take it from there. And then any athletes, obviously I'm still passionate about that. So any athletes that are in anywhere from 6th through 12th grade and they're really committed, and that's the word, committed to their sport. And if your kid's committed or not. If they're committed, reach out. I would love to have them in our program. We have an online community for athletes. We have a lot of cool stuff going with athletes as well. So if they're committed and they're locked in, then I definitely want to be a resource for them as well.
Yeah, so good. I said this conversation, we keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. But I
Yeah.
know it's 9 o'clock on our end, but I know it's like early dinner for you. Thank you
Yeah. Yeah.
for
Six
cutting
o'clock.
thank you for cutting your day a little bit short and jumping on the call with me. It has been a pleasure. I love your story. I love what you're doing. I love what you're about. And I'm gonna call you because my son needs a scholarship. Okay.
There you go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. No, I'm down. That's what I do. That's what I do. I got you. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean? And I
yeah.
and I do thank you for having me on. I mean, this has been great. I mean, got me hanging out with the doctors and stuff. You know what I mean? Let me
I
let
know.
me sit up in my chair. But no, I love it. I love your energy. I love the impact and what you're doing. So this is great. Thank you for sharing your platform with me.
You are so welcome, and we will touch base.
All right, sounds
Okay,
good.
take care.
All right.
And there you have it, y'all. That was Mike Waters from the Man Cave. That was so amazing. I had so many other questions for him. He also does a lot for the youth, and Anyway, so lots of information. Reach out to him. This has been Upsis Up, Women's Empowerment Radio. Actually, Women's and Men's Empowerment Radio. I'm going to have to change the name somehow. But this was a special edition. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Stay tuned for more from Upsis Up. And stay tuned for the Destiny Exposure Summit, the Destiny Rewind. I'm bringing a 911 dispatcher onto the show. Stay tuned for more.
Hi, and welcome to the Girl Boss Life Academy. I am Dr. Marcea, and I am your Master Destiny Life Coach. And I specialize in helping women to discover who they are, to decide what they want, and then to deliver on their destiny. But what is a girl boss? And I believe every strong woman is powered by the girl boss inside, who is strong, who is tenacious, who is powerful, but who also needs to be encouraged, who also needs to be supported, and who also needs to be loved. And that's what we do here at the Girl Boss Life Academy. And so we help you to redefine who you are, help you to refocus on your goals, and also helps you to redirect your path so that you get to that destination. I remember when I needed that life coach, the decades upon decades of me not knowing the answers, me not feeling confident to make the decisions I needed to make. And so that is what we do here at Girl Boss Life Academy. I use my transformational coaching method to help you to boss up both in life and in leadership. For those that are ready, go ahead and click and register to get my free gift to you. And you can also learn more about the coaching program. It's time to boss up both in life and in leadership. Hi, and welcome to the Girl Boss Life Academy. I am Dr. Marcea, and I am your Master Destiny Life Coach. And I specialize in helping women to discover who they are, to decide what they want, and then to deliver on their destiny. But what is a girl boss? And I believe every strong woman is powered by the girl boss inside, who is strong, who is tenacious, who is powerful, but who also needs to be encouraged, who also needs to be supported, and who also needs to be loved. And that's what we do here at the Girl Boss Life Academy. And so we help you to redefine who you are, help you to refocus on your goals, and also helps you to redirect your path so that you get to that destination. I remember when I needed that life coach, the decades upon decades of me not knowing the answers, me not feeling confident to make the decisions I needed to make. And so that is what we do here at Girl Boss Life Academy. I use my transformation